Hi, my friends. My name is Ryan Freeman. Thank you for coming to this video and watching another collaboration video with Marco Reviews. Several days ago, Marco posted a video about his art influences, and he introduced one of his teachers, David Byers Brown. This was an artist who worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as well as other Hollywood movies. There was one picture that captured my attention because of its oddity. It is a picture of Odysseus, or an Odysseus-like figure, shooting an arrow through the heads of, I believe it's 16 axes. Now, if you have ever read Homer's The Odyssey, Odysseus shoots an arrow through 12 axe heads while there is a group of people looking on with tension. It's sort of a big culminating moment in that almost 3,000-year-old epic. All right, now this painting, I'm going to look at my computer monitor while I'm talking with it. So if I seem distracted, it's because I'm looking at the painting with you guys as I bring it up on the screen. Okay, so here we have what looks like Odysseus. First thing that pops out to me is that he is only clothed with a hat. He is naked, and that shouldn't come as a surprise because Greeks were fond of being naked. He has this bow, and you see there is a crowd behind him, all watching, very eager. It's almost as if they have money on it. Something is at stake. Now, if you have read the Odyssey, you know that this was the defining moment of Odysseus's revenge upon the suitors who were trying to come after his wife. And it was literally a feat to shoot the arrow through 12 axe heads. However, in this picture, we have 16 axe heads. It was a feat blessed by the gods. And you can see, you could just imagine how difficult it would be to do something like that. Then we have what Marco pointed out as very strange and as belonging to two different genres or worlds. We not only have these Greek figures, either naked or clothed, but we also have these cartoon characters or these little munchkins that are walking in the opposite direction of where the arrow was aimed at. And while everyone is facing towards the arrow, these munchkins and cartoon characters are facing the other way and are marching, it looks like, towards Odysseus. Down below, we see lots of articles that have been thrown to the floor underneath the crowd of onlookers who are very eager to see the success or failure of Odysseus's shot. We see lots of bottles. So there was a lot of, we could imagine, intoxication. And we also have down in the very center bottom, we have what looks like a laptop. There's an apple on the screen. And I couldn't find a super high resolution photo of this art piece. However, this was the best one I was able to find. And there are words written, and it looks like something critical access on the computer. We have whiskey flask down, but behind Odysseus's stool, we have something blood of Christ, So these bottles may not just represent alcohol, but perhaps something else. And we can talk about that a little more. We see a little, looks like a cell phone gadget being tossed from, it looks almost like a pocket dictionary or a walkie-talkie or something, or a remote control for your garage being tossed from the table, as everyone is just focused on that arrow. And then also, and this is very intriguing, on the handles of the axes, you can see that there are words written down. So let's look at the first one. The first one says feature film divination. The second says telepathic control of crowds. The third says shared secret identity, then control of value, motivational medicine, autonomous construction, independent substance, prophetic destiny, and now it gets harder to read as we get deeper into the serried axes. We have something money, and then it starts to become unreadable. So that's unfortunate. You know, whenever you want to interpret a piece of art, it is good to have a clear view. But we're going to do our best because I think it's an interesting piece and because my good friend Marco requested it. All right. Did I just snort? Sorry about that. So another very interesting thing, perhaps the most interesting. All right, guess what I find to be the most interesting. Just take a look. All right. Have you guessed? All right, here it is. We're going to zoom in, and what is this? There's a boot stomping, it looks like, on a very private part. Is it his thigh? Is it upon his groin? Someone has a foot on Odysseus's crotch. A black leather boot, it appears. And it is this intriguing figure. This is sort of an androgynous figure. We don't know. Is this a man or is this a woman? They have a very provocative outfit. Looks like it belongs in a BDSM party. And they also have a very large bottle that it's hard for me to see what is written on that bottle, but we definitely do see the word blood. Blood of something. Something, blood of something. You got chains or some sort of girder. And so, all right, so how are we going to make sense of this? I hope that you guys have your own opinions. I hope that you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys will see things that I am unable to see or have a different interpretation, and I would love to hear what you guys come up with. So what it appears to me is a picture about success and sort of the tension of success. We have, will Odysseus be able to successfully shoot that arrow through those axe heads? Now that is in Homer's The Odyssey. Will he be able to shoot the arrow through and get his revenge on the suitors? And here, will he be able to shoot the arrow through these axe heads and be successful? You can see the tension. Will he do it? Perhaps there's victory, but you see some guys throwing their hands out. One guy has his fist up. One person has their arm outstretched. Perhaps some people want him to be successful. Perhaps some people don't want them to be successful. And that reminds me perhaps of our own individual success. I'm not trying to be cynical, but whenever you do go out for a heroic undertaking, remember Odysseus is not just a normal human, he is a hero. He is attempting to do something heroic, and that is something within the human story. All of us are capable of doing something heroic, perhaps on larger or smaller magnitudes according to our abilities and talents, but all of us love heroic stories because we have something in us that is heroic if we give it a chance and if we do it or if we go for it. So does everyone want us to be successful? Well, the people that really love you, the people that are on your side, of course they want you to be successful, but there are people who might not want you to be successful. So that's sort of what this crowd looks like. I see one woman has a face of consternation. Some people look excited. And sure enough, in the Odyssey, there were two various factions. One faction wants Odysseus to come home and get revenge, and the other side wants to prevent him from succeeding. And I think that's an important thing to realize. Who are your friends and who are your enemies? But that's not just what this picture is about to me. And what these phrases or I don't know exactly what you would call them, what these words on the axe handles could possibly mean. Well, we do know that David Byers Brown worked in film, and so perhaps these are related to his pillars of success whenever he worked on a film, because the first axe head says feature film divination. So divination, you know, is the ability to divine, to tell the future, to see something where you are not. It's like magic. So feature film magic in a certain way. Telepathic control of crowds, and of course films do control the crowd. We go in there and we get zapped by the messages, and shared secret identity, control of value. There are values in films, motivational medicine. Films do motivate us. Autonomous construction, is it autonomous? Well, see, it's hard for me to exactly say, and because we don't know what every axe handle says, it will be hard to solve that riddle. But my guess is that these words are meaningful to David Byers Brown's, perhaps his idea of success in his art, or in his art for films, or something along that line. Because shooting that arrow is a heroic feat. And I'm sure trying to shoot through, using this as a metaphor, shoot through 16 axe heads, or 12 in Homer's original, The Odyssey, is very difficult, takes a lot of skill. So does nailing it on an art piece, or nailing the art in a film, right? That's why some films, or some anime, some animated films are better than others, because the artist nailed it. And how do they do it? It's a different type of heroic act than shooting an arrow, but perhaps these messages will give us a clue into at least how David Byers Brown thought, some of the recipe that he needed for that. Now, I want to go finally, perhaps not finally, I want to go second to finally, back to that black boot that is trying to crush the crotch of the hero. And perhaps this hero is David Byers Brown, and not Odysseus, actually. Why is that crotch being stomped on? Perhaps this person doesn't want the hero to succeed. If someone were to attempt a daring feat and someone stepped on their crotch, that would definitely be an impediment. Now, I do want to say that the creative spirit, or the creative principle, has long, for many, many millennia, even before Homer, and Homer's almost 3,000 years old, before Homer, has been associated with the phallus, with the genitals, with the male, with the cock. Because that's where we create life from, and that's where all life comes from a man's cock, right? Impregnates the woman. So it looks like this person is trying to crush this hero's success, trying to crush their creativity. Because if it was just about success, they might be trying to cut the bowstring or put the hands over the face. But because it's the cock is the seed of the seat of our creativity, either literally or metaphorically. And I will say this, guys, I'm not an expert, I'm not a master artist, but when I'm most creative, it is also when I'm most virile. All right, that might have been TMI. Okay, here we go. So now, who is this figure? Why do they want to do it? Well, no judgments, guys. I have my own secrets behind closed doors. But it does appear that this figure represents vice, right? Because as you see, the hero is ripped. They are in fantastic shape. And they are calm, they have their mouth closed, whereas the figure trying to sabotage the hero has mouth agape like a rude, uneducated person, flabby skin, and look I'm flabbier than I used to be. But, you know, flabbiness is not a sign of dedication or professionalism. dependent upon your profession, obviously. If you're a Santa Claus, then perhaps flabby skin helps. They're wearing this sort of body costume. They have this massive bottle. I think they represent vice, and perhaps this is basically saying that vice can get in your way. Vice can crush your creativity. Now, for me, I am a man of many vices. I'm not going to get into my vices. I don't want to make it personal. But I have noticed that in some ways vices can help, and artists have a long history of using vices, alcohol and sensuous delights and wild orgies to enhance their creativity. But of course, too much of anything can burn you down. And we know all those stories of artists who have fried their brains or lost their souls or died prematurely because they gave in to too much vice, be it drugs or unprotected sex or what have you. All right, so that's my comment on that. And lastly, now to the Munchkins. The Munchkin parade that is marching in the opposite direction. They are coming from what looks like the success, right? If the arrow going through that last axe head, that is the direction of success. These Munchkins are coming from success. Now, what is in their cartoon and tiny arms and hands? They are coming with, what? Are they coming with weapons? No, they're coming with tools, it looks like. The very first character, easily recognized as that famous mouse, has something that says construction. So perhaps it is a blueprint or something that will aid in the building of something. And we have an educated duck that you will recognize. We have various instruments like saws and hammers, and I believe that might be a spade or a trowel. I don't build that much, so I wouldn't know exactly. But we have these tiny tunes coming from the success, bringing tools of construction. So this leads me back to the idea that this figure is David Byers Brown in the form of Odysseus, trying to heroically succeed in an artistic construction. An artistic construction perhaps related to movies, from those messages on the axe handles, like feature film divination, the magic, and these figures, I believe, represent the imagination, because artists live and die by their relation to the imagination. Or creativity. How many artists pull their hair out because they have lost the gift of the muses? Their imagination is not firing. A lot of times we do engage in vice to spark our imagination, to get our creativity back. I have that first glass of wine in a day and suddenly my mind opens up doors that were previously closed in my sober state. And by doing the heroic feat, by staying focused, perhaps even by abstaining from vice, I don't know, he does end up getting the help of his imagination. These tiny tunes coming to help him make the film, make the art that will accomplish all of these pillars of success written upon the axe heads. So guys, I don't know if that's actually what David Byers Brown meant when he did that, but I thought I would give it my best shot, and I thank Marco Reviews for sharing that. I'd love to know what you guys think, and I hope that you guys saw something that I didn't see. And I find that it's just fun to look at art and try to decode it like a riddle. All right, thank you for watching this video. My name is Ryan. Bye.